Hi. Okay? Hello. Then we need to stick to talk about our tonight subject matter. I think it's our organization is very strong. She pushed to say that I need to talk about, how to say, some small introduction about the Dzogchens and especially specifically some Longchen Nyingtig and 9 vehicles. I think it's many subjects. It's difficult to talk in the short periods. But anyway, you know very well about the precious teaching of the Buddhas. And generally speaking, when you talk about Dharma, there's a kind of two different traditions. It comes from in India. In India there is two Buddhist universities, and one is the Bhutanahili University, one is the Nalanda University. And Bhutanahili universities, it is like one day give speech about the Dharma, and first time they're talking about the teacher of Buddha, and then second is the how it appeared the teaching of the Buddha. But the life of the Buddha, how it appeared in this world, these 12 marvelous deeds or 12 marvelous biography about the Buddha Tsogyal that you know very well. Then after the 40 years, he was old, or you come to say it's after not really 40 years, he left from palace 32 years. Then during the 6 years, he researched something kind of some methods or some navigation, I would say. Some is medicine or antidote, and something is advice in order to avoid sufferings, in order to get the happiness, not only the temporary to avoid the sufferings, not only the temporary to receive the happiness. And because temporary happiness he has marvelous, because he was a prince, and he lives until the 32 years he was palace, and therefore he's not much concerning temporary relative pleasures, happiness, and he wants to go more further than that. And then after 6 years the research, he found something. He says, and he told saying that I found something very special. It is a peace. It is like a nectar. It can make free for you from any kind of sufferings, and especially the suffering of the birth, old age, sickness, death. And that is quite unusual. It is very special. And then it's when he said that, of course at the beginning it's difficult to understand what does it mean. And slowly it's it's already 6-7 weeks he couldn't give teaching because nobody doesn't understand, they understand. Nobody doesn't want to listen to him. But afterwards there are some special beings request to him to say, please, now can you unveil of the Dharmas? And then he started in the Varanasi, and then in the king near the palace or the Vulture Mountains. He taught like 3 wheel of the Dharma 3 times during the 41, 42 years, more than 42 years or something like this. And then it's like that is a simple, small kind of how it has happened. And then it's like in his teachings, of course, putting the disciples' element and the aggregations or the dispositions or something, or it's like wishes. Of course, there's different categories of the Buddha's teaching, but it's very, we come to resume. There's 2 classifications that you know very well: Sutta teachings and the Maitreya teachings. And in the Sutta's perspective, there's like we can, to how do you say, easy to understand. There's 3 Tipitakas, like Vinayana's teaching, Sutrayana's teaching, Abhidhammayana's teachings. This is the principle, the teaching of the Buddhas, and this included 3, the training wheel of the Dharma. And then we came to more close to those teachings. And the Vinayana teachings is like more basic teachings, more physical teachings, and very much like a basic beginner. And for the beginners in the relative, really, it is very important to talk about functional things. It is really touchable, reachable, and seeable. I don't know what you can say. Immediately you say something very deep things, and for those listeners at the beginning is quite difficult. And therefore Vinayanas like more talking about discipline, and if used to stop the killing, stolen, sexual misconduct, and then you will become the good human beings. It is benefit for yourself, it is the benefit for others, and it is obvious or not, you need to analyze. He said that. That is, we're talking about basically is the virtue and non-virtues. And it is not kind of mysterious to say something, or religious perspective. It is not. Normally, Buddha, he says something behind there's all the time reason, meaning. And therefore, of course, we're talking about the 10 negative movement, actions, and 10 negative movement is very much function, very much seeing, very much kind of touchable. It is really, it's like a kind of the obvious to see, hear, talk. And then it's like to more close to analyze. If you kill, to kill human or to animal, any sentient beings, if you kill, it is suffering. This is not, I'm saying it's like kind of religious perspective. It's not saying something is like, how do you say, mysterious. You can to look at the direct. When you kill 2 others, maybe you have kind of pleasure, you think it's like a true that you're killing, you're ignorant, or disattachment, or jealousy, or something. Then it's like you kill, others died, you are kind of happy, but someone's killed to you, do you have suffering? Are you happy? Someone's going to direct to head to say, I'm going to kill you now. Then which kind of suffering do you have? And he says to take example of yourself, do not harm to others. That is like kind of my teaching. And same is like stealing, sexual misconduct, say it's like harsh word and so on and so on. That is 10 negative this I don't need to repeat. You know very well. And also someone's to keep this discipline about this 10 negative, positive, to stop the 10 negative and to keep the 10 positive. What he's saying, you are going to happy, and to keep the 10 positive actions. In this the human society, you are best human beings. All any kind of sentient beings take refuge into you. It is Bodhisattva's activities. And also if you keep these 10 positive actions, it's the best human beings. It's authentic. You are already Bodhisattva. And it is truth or not, you can to analyze. It is the truth. If someone's to really to keep the 10 positive actions in this hour in the human society, is the best human beings. And if someone's really is like, doesn't want to act any this 10 negative actions, and it's immediately you can to take refuge. Is this a person is the protector for us? Is peacemaker and the creation of the happiness. And therefore it is obviously in those discipline, principle this discipline. And then of course there's subtle more you can go deep. For example, some authentic human beings, maybe they want to do more, not only the 10 negative actions to stop, not only to keep the 10 positive actions, maybe they want to go more further. If you take the individual liberation vows, quoting the Vinayanas, there is like principle to the 252 discipline. And some monks, nuns, great practitioners to take this one, each like individual vows to learn, memorize, each moment to keep the mindfulness, they can keep like this. And that is in the relatively fantastic, absolutely marvelous, and of course it's like very much extraordinary. And then in the sutta teachings perspective, more mentally is common. Is we call the like mentally discipline, mentally like kind of moral discipline, and it's more connected to the samadhi, like more connected meditations. And there's we call the samadhis. And mind is, of course, there's principally there is a three discipline that we know very well, like kind of envious and wrong views. There's three discipline. And top of that, then it's like you are training your mind. Why we need to train your mind? And it's like more close to the mind. And the Buddha, he said, it's like more outer discipline. It's very important, your body. And body, when you're talking about body, including the speech. Body, speech is most important, of course important, but most important is the mind. And then it's like his example of the trees. The root of these trees is the mind. The mind keeps the discipline very well. Then outer is a body speech. Whatever you do is not very much important. And then it's like more approach to the mind. You need to tame your mind through the meditations. If you tame your mind, you develop your mind as everything is in your hand. Even the enlightenment is in your hand. What I discovered something special, those teachings, without the teachings, I found it in my mind. nothing else. And then he says, like, tame your mind. Then there's a kind of different discipline, according to Vinayanas, but more is like Sutayanas. Then it's like a little bit profound. You know, it's like we can to say is how you can to make calm your mind, and like generally speaking, it's like karma budding and vipassanams, and how you can to settle your mind. Because it's like if you do not settle your mind, you cannot make calm your mind. If you cannot cannot control your mind, and then it's like whatever you put effort out of your body speech, it's not very much beneficial, and therefore he said is we need to control our mind, because the mind itself is the root of the happiness, the root of the sufferings. He said is, I never found any creations of the samsara nirvana, and he said, I found that the creation of the samsara nirvana is your own individual mind. His teaching's perspective, samsara and nirvana is created individual our own minds. For example, generally we say it's like, okay, common samsara and common nirvana, but that is the different. Common samsara, nirvana, we don't know really. It is like kind of mysterious, because it is the pattern of the mind, realities. Even the now science to see that. For example, we can to say it's the Gothenburg. Gothenburg is like just the name of the Gothenburg. And Gothenburg is so difficult to find. What is the real Gothenburg? It is because it's the atom particles, and each picosecond is changing. It's never ever something maintains to say it's one particle to say this is the improved existence of the Gothenburg. Impossible. Even science cannot find. This is the obvious in our, really it's like basically in the like how do you say, commonly, and therefore the outer samsara and nirvana, common samsara and nirvana, difficult to say existence, but individual samsara and nirvanas, that is a kind of, when we have mind, we can appear. It is like maybe, for example, someone's to have appearances of the samsara, same time as someone's be there, same place. Maybe others cannot to perceive the samsara, maybe nirvana. And therefore it's like one object or something object different perceived. And therefore the individual samsara, normally we can to say individual nirvanas, is created by our own minds. Then maybe we have questions there to say, yes, in the human common we can to see is like how many billion, 7 or 6 or 7 billion, or I don't know how many people, we can to see similarities. All the human beings to be in the surround, to look at these flowers. Everybody say the flower, but it's like a flower, you know, we call the flower. If you are like using if you don't analyze, okay, that. If you more analyze, maybe it's each individual language giving the different name. If you say the flower, English say flower, then maybe it's the Swedish language. If you, and one English person say flower, then what this person saying? It is not this flower. If you go to in Tibet, someone say flower, then what are you talking about? We say metal. Then it's like there is different terminologies to give, but this is commonly kind of, okay, this is nice smell, this is okay. What you call it, but these nice things is grow up in earth. What you say your language. In English say flower, in Tibet say metal. But then it's terminology, there's hundreds of languages, you have different name. But this object, we see it, but the object, even the language perspective, is not really existence. And also, billion people to look at this one. Each person has different dimensions. Maybe someone says more broad yellow, someone says maybe more lesser the yellow, and maybe someone says nice, someone's not. It's the billions of humans look at this one flower, they perceive it different. And like this is like our own appearances, it's like individual habitual patterns or habitual forming imprinting. It's like kind of patterns to coming again. It's a different. The object, what am I saying? The object of the samsara and nirvana is difficult to say the existence. But mind can produce. Then it's definitely we can to perceive samsara and nirvana. Inevitably, 100%. We can to see direct right now. For example, these things, house, these things, lamps, all these kind of types. We don't know really they are existent, but we have patterns. This kind of cause, or it's like there's ability, these patterns to perceive these appearances. And therefore, for example, sometimes maybe in the between us, there are many sentient beings, other beings. Maybe they cannot perceive us. Maybe they perceive some mountain, house, or something, earth or water, different. Maybe they never perceive to us as human beings. We can't receive to them because different patterns, different patterns. And therefore, it's like we can to say, obviously, in our all the animals, okay, creatures, maybe better to say so. For example, like cows, pigs, lions, tigers, human beings. We have different food, different mentalities, different, for example, we can to see the one green like grass. Maybe some animals can go to direct to eat, and some cannot. Maybe someone's completely poisoned. Why it is happened? Why? Because of the kind of patterns is coming this, then this appearance is very much fashionable. It is very much worked, but it is individual mind. It's make like this. It's nobody's decided, and like naturally is he says like this. In order to make to peace, to make harmony, and then we need to tame our mind. Through the taming our mind, and to recognize the self pattern or self appearances, and then he give word, meaning of the enlightenment. That means when you become the master of your mind and your appearances, then you don't need to go more further. Mastery, you become the owner, you become the director, you become the kind of great master controller of your mind and the appearances. And then there is the enlightenment and the appearances of the birth, old age, sickness, death. You go through it, but you don't need to suffer. Just to kind of play, how do you say, it's and the outside, others' perspective is like you're going through it, but inside you completely maybe freedom. Whatever there is movement is creates. The movement itself also is the mind. Mind itself, there is not very much different. Therefore, you need to tame, and if you tame your mind is become calm. Your mind is become calm. Mind is more clearly, more sharp, more is intelligent, and through the intelligent, sharp mind, then you can to understand what is your mind, what is the appearances of the mind, and therefore he's very much approach in the sutta perspective to the mind. It's more meditations, and then it's Abhidhammayana said, Abhidhamma's the teachings is more details, and to understand really realities. Of course, the principle of the Buddha's teaching telling to us body, speech, mind, nothing else, in order to recognize our own individual body, speech, mind. If we do not recognize, we do not understand our own body, speech, mind, how we understand outer things. He says, like example of the owner of the elephant. The owner of the elephant, he lost elephant, but before he put the elephant, it's an elephant house. But he thought my elephant is around in the forest, and he went in the forest. He's looking the feet printing of the elephant. He never ever found his elephant, because his elephant is at home. Like this, it's like all the universal ground, the source of the happiness or the sorrow, and all the like kind of creation of the samsara and nirvana. Everything's good or bad thing. The source of that is the keeping in our house, the house of the mind itself, and then it's looking something outside to chasing after our own like this mysterious appearances. Or maybe I will catch this, I will catch this, maybe I will research this and that, and then it's we never ever found the good happiness. And therefore he said it's like, do not searching outside, to search inside your body, speech, mind. And of course it's like then it's in order to research, in order to realize that our own body, speech, mind, we need basic educations. It is like in the Abhidhamma teachings talking about particle, like kind of times, and also it's like a kind of outer universal, inner all the sentient beings, and between ourselves, how it is coming out, how it's building blood, particle or antiparticles. They're talking about like this. Then it's basically we can to slowly to the study, then it's more approach to the mind. Finally, Sutta, the Abhidhamma teachings, we don't need to very much. You know, for example, generally in the Buddha's teachings talking about emptiness. If you first time looking out the out environment, universal, and then it's, oh, it is huge, it is big. And then someone says, it's huge, it's big, but it is one simple atom or many atoms or particles. Of course, this automatically give answer. Very small, tiny particles joined together is created, like coming there is one word. That itself is like nothing else. It's like kind of looks like sand pipe, you know. It is like if you elephant touch, it's disappeared. But of course, it's like where it's disappeared. Disappeared where? It's difficult to say. Each second is changing. Each second is changing, disappear. Outer world, inner sentient beings between ourselves. Each picosecond is where is the dissolving, exhausted. Itself. It's really easily to analyze. You know, for example, each element, each things are exhausting. But where is exhausting? For example, we can say sometimes, or my like a petrol, or my like something firewood, exhausted, because of them I make a fire and they're smoking. Smoking is going to maybe space. Maybe that is something trace. Something is left, but this is imagine, you know. Everything is each picosecond, not really picosecond, more than the picosecond, changing. And the first one is that there's nothing like current, present, permanently, nothing cannot to live. And then it's changing, where is it? It's just talking about empty nature. And that one is we need to concerning to maintain and that perspective, then to approach to that. Sometimes it's difficult to talk, difficult to describe, difficult to, how do you say, it's like express. You know, how it is going on, really. Comes from the past, surely something exists in the past. What? Outer environment, in whatever exists beings, ourselves, futures, where is I'm going out of environment is going to where space, inner beings where is going to space, between okay ourselves where is a space, where we go, where we come from, where we are sitting. It's like kind of this is empty nature. In the sutta perspective, empty nature. When you maintain as much as there, and natural there is the cessation of the discursive thoughts. Generally, we have very much wrong thoughts. Past existence, future existence, present existence, and existence. Everything is existence. Surely I can touch, I can hear, I can touch sound, smell it. Surely existence. Existence. Existence, what is existence? Which particle? Which aggregations? Which element is existence? Can you tell me? Shut up, go away. Surely. Existence, that's all. Then it's like, Buddha, his beginning, cannot to talk. Those Indians, they say, we don't understand, what are you talking about? Okay, then he says, slowly coming there. But reality now is like more humans, more intelligent. For example, I'm often to say in Westerns, you have basic education, fantastic. You're talking about that, you studied already science. And then you can talk about the particle, antiparticle, or particle, or any element. All those things, when you talk about, you have imagine inside. But then it's like, even that you have like one thing, I want to show like this one's, surely this is not a single atom, Over yourself, it's many atoms here, billions atoms. Then it's there are something interruption, or something is like kind of magnet, or someone's making the string between theirs to while it's enjoyed, and then it's like maybe a few years, even you live like this, and so patched to disappear automatically. Some inside string in the Abhidhamma teachings, like kind of say precious, like waters, like kind of collecting. And then it's the precious earths to keep the like kind of wild, and then it's the fires to making the grow up, airs to making the movement, and space to, how do you say, you can to grow up, make like kind of space. Then the 5 elements to coming together. Okay, you have fresh things, fresh, and this element is slowly it's a changing process. Is losing fires to something inside problems, and then it's this one problem. Like same our bodies, water problems, then more problem, and then the end the compounded element is dissolved, and then we don't know where it's dissolved. We don't know. It's like when I go to the Indians, American Indians, their religious perspective, they're talking about Mother Earth and the Father Sky, and I asked her to say, what? Yes. And I'm never ever disappeared. They say, yeah, why? I said, because I'm born in the earth. I'm dying. When I'm dying, my bodies go to earth, again flower or another animal. Again I'm going to die, and Mother Earth make birth. Like this. But I don't know really, it's a mind is something is left, I would to say it's a body speech. It's very, very difficult, because this particles, 1 is picosecond changed, then this particle, this materials, this aggregation is never continue, never ever continue. In this case, it's like if I'm die to put it in the earth, and then my bodies never grow up. Different something elements. It doesn't matter it's a grow up flower or something. But this is like in the Abhidhamma perspective, it is like kind of, how to say so, in the relative point. And therefore, if we study more like this, then it's more approach the meaning of the sutta teachings. Why? Because more approach to the emptiness. Emptiness is like, there's not much details in the sutta teachings, just meditations, emptiness, And also it's like emptiness. We study the more Abhidhammas, it's like a kind of establish the emptiness, how it is emptiness, like through the particles, through the times. As I said, it's like a big atom, small atom, middle atom, or like longer times, millions, or short times, very short times, like a picosecond. Times, atoms is our basic body, speech, mind, basic our universal source. But this basic is like really our the cause of these two things, atoms and the times itself is difficult to existence. It is appear, but where it is like kind of abiding, where is the dissolved. These three things is like in the scientific perspective, maybe come from space, as living in the space, dissolve into the space. Maybe that is the answer. I asked many scientists, or maybe like this. That is the answer. And in the Buddhist perspective, it comes from the empty nature, true nature, abiding in the true nature, dissolve into the true nature. It's like, but it's like space, true nature is a little bit different perspective. And therefore sometimes in the sutta or in the Abhidhamma's teaching says like free from coming, going, coming like the free from the birth, old age, sickness, death. So that perspective we can reach. And therefore I think is the sutta perspective like this, and then Buddha's, there's many categorizations. And then is the second we call is the Mantrayana teachings. Mantrayana teachings, this round, it's like the very basic teachings is like maybe, for example, if you have, someone has already or not, maybe someone's very sharp wisdoms, very intelligent, just not much need the, how to say, teaching like a word by word, or to the mouth, to the ears. It's like maybe some symbolic teachings to understand. And then it's also like go direct to the sensual mind. The essence of the mind is like this. And then it's the movement or the quality aspect of the mind is like this. Direct the teachings. Maybe it is like says go beyond any kind of you can do say it's like or karma or any kind of relative things. You like to go beyond that, and then it's like a little bit supra things. If someone's like received that, maybe mind is it's like astonished. You can what this person to say is not really true, something like this kind of. And therefore it's like someone's to hear that. It is like when you hear that, it's like immediately very happy, difficult to stop in the tail. Someone says that I need it. That is the really is going to direct to my heart, and I'm looking forward to receive teaching that kind of thing. That is for very much benefit, very much how do you say fast, quickly result, and that is we call the Vajrayana teachings here. And Buddha, when he was alive, he didn't talk much. I mean, it's like both sides he talked. For example, in the second teaching times, he says forms, empty forms. There times also is he mentioned about the Sutayana, the Mantrayana. And also the third teaching time says, hey, mind is not in the mind. Mind is the luminosity. Nature, anti-aspect is like Sutta establishment is quite very, very nice. But in this luminosity aspect of the mind, a little bit kind of different approaches. Different approaches is like how it is the empty nature, the essence of the mind is, or essence of the things, how is it provide or the permeated to the any kind of the things, and the things of the samsara, things of the nirvana, everything is the luminosity aspect.
That is the scientific way, says, we can to say things, how it is atom, particles comes from. Of course, they say it come from the Big Bang. And then it's like you can say, where is the Big Bang is come from? Big Bang is like many particles is coming to it. Then you go more particles, where it's come from? You go to more deep, they say, we don't know, but maybe it's come from space. And then is you can to ask, space, where it's come from? Space come from space. There's no cannot go further. And that is the perspective. It's quite good research, a different Buddhism, but in the space, 100% there is something because of the luminosities. Even you can do this in the glass. You close this in the air inside, and then inside there is a space, and then you can to keep maybe 1 2 years. That's naturally coming something dusty or particles inside. How it is come? Because cannot enter any outer dust inside, but automatically inside. Because in the space luminosity is naturally occurring. It's a particle there. And therefore Buddha, he said, form is empty, particle is empty, empty is the particles. Like a kind of like atoms are empty, empty is atoms. They can to say it's that. Therefore it's like wherever space there is luminosity, wherever luminosity is 100% they occurring, all these things. And the universal, sentient beings, stars, solar systems, everything can occur. That is the luminosity aspect in the Vajrayana teachings. It's like a kind of very much details and very much kind of, how do you say, it's clearly. And also it's like the detail is completed. In the sutta perspective, when you study, and something, some on the point, what? It's something's like missing there, because it's like cannot go more further, stop there. And in the Mantrayana teachings is very much details and very much clearly, very much precise, very much completed, and like kind of you don't need to go beyond that. Therefore it's like direct, very much, very detailed, very clearly, and very like complete the explanation of the realities. And therefore it's like the Mantrayana is like why we call the mantra. Mantra means like meaning of the diamond. This Mantrayana teaching, if we can to fit into our mind, if we can to follow the properly, correctly, these Mantrayanas can destroy the, like, directly our disturbed emotions, obscurations, and immediately kind of be enlightenment. Therefore it's like kind of diamond teaching, you can to say, you know. Sometimes in the Western nowadays they call the diamond teachings. I don't know the meaning of diamond. Okay, it's like they can destroy two things. Diamond teaching or Vajrayana teaching, or it's like similarity. But also it is a little bit kind of secret. It's very important. Why it is secret? Not like kind of like how you say without compassion or someone to keep themselves. Not like this, because it is also you teaching this Vajrayana direct. Sometimes very dangerous, because it's like a misunderstanding occurring, and then you destroy it to the disciples' mind. Sometimes easily nihilist, falling into the nihilist. Sometimes you misunderstand, and then maybe it's become very strange, like kind of the pretending practitioners, and also it's like something hesitation, and many different. It's maybe it's coming. Therefore, ancient or Buddha himself he's very much makes secret teaching. Therefore, we call sometimes secret teachings. It's like a kind of some disciple is very much suitable, contain their mind as he immediately, and any kind of Vajra master they can give immediately. If they're like some Vajra masters, call the Vajra masters to play with the student. Okay, maybe it's like a student to think, now I have received Dzogchen teaching, wonderful. Tomorrow maybe I will be the Buddha, I received Vajrayana teaching, and now, yes, gazing into the space is very much different, taking the positions, but it's correct is very important. Incorrect, its result is maybe more longer than the Sutayanas. And also it's like there's many things to say. It's very easy. It is like some jungle food. If you go to the McDonald's, they say it's fast, quickly, delicious smells for healthy foods. I don't know it is really true or not. And like this kind of, sometimes the Mantrayanas and Dzogchen Chembo, you come to say, it is the Vajrayana's teachings, wow, wonderful, fantastic, that I want us. If we don't follow the correct, you teach yourself don't do the correctly, then it's destroying in the student mind, is not very good. Therefore, great masters all the time they examine the student, is correct, immediately give. There's nothing strangeness. But if there's something wrong, they say student who says you need to practice, you need to more study, I will give you. And therefore it's like sometimes it's, the teaching is a little bit making the secret, and therefore that the secret matter is like this. And then is the Longchen Nyingtig. Longchen Nyingtig, I mean, it's like normally long is is the nature space. Nyingtig Longchen is the great nature space, the big nature space. That is the meaning of the name of the nature of the reality. And then Nyingtig, it means it comes from that. It's something is up here. It is really like the door of the heart, blood. It is really crucial point. It is most important Pit instructions. That is like kind of the heart essence of the expanse nature state. And therefore it is like they say, of course there this tradition and this teaching, it is like basically, of course, in the Buddha, and afterward there's some Padmasambhava, Padmasambhava, probably you know very well, and one is like some extraordinary human masters came and called the Padmasambhava. And also Buddha, he says like after I'm passed away, there's one is the masters coming for my teachings. His name is Padmasambhava. Probably is like born naturally in the some lotus or something, and this person can express more, to develop more, express about the secret matter and teachings. And then that was is like the Patrul Rinpoche Padmasambhava, and then he's like very much strong, and also he go to different Dakinis place to bring all the Buddha's teaching of the secret Mantrayanas. Then he expressed more than the Buddhas in this world. And then is after there is many different the Mantrayana teachings. There's teaching called, and Longchen Nyingtig is like Bumala Mata, Longchen Ranjam, and then it's like all this crucial point collected by the Lingpa. It's we call the Longchen Nyingtig. It is a very, very, there is one teaching you call the Yeshe Lama. It's like direct teaching. It's so most important teachings. And when you receive the Yeshe Lamas, afterwards you go to the retreat. There's like kind of definitely to be enlightenment. But I don't know, so I haven't got the experience. That this like this, and then it says 9 vehicles. 9 vehicles is like each individual their perspective. 3 vehicle is completely Suta's perspective. As I said, Vinayana, Sutayana, Abhidhamayana. That is the Sutta perspective, based teaching. And then it's a 6 is like below the more the Mantrayana teachings. There is outer Mantrayana teaching, inner Mantrayana teaching. Outer the Mantrayana teachings, there's 3 things that we call the Triya teaching, the upper teaching, yoga teachings. And they also is like a very much basic Triya, and the upper is like a more, it's like a basic teachings. It is like a kind of like a basic introduction of the fundamental and the teachings. It is like a kind of more concern in the Buddhist speech, and also it's like more relative perspective. And this true is like the outer the natural teachings. And then is the yoga is like divided like a tree, you can to say, and like Maha Yoga, Ana Yoga, and Atha Yogas. And then it's like this, most times this Maha, the Ana and Atha is like very much direct teaching. But anyway, these 9 vehicles, it is like a kind of for those students gradually to go top of these teachings, Atha Yogas. And of course, it's Atha Yoga is the outer, inner, and the secret. There is the teachings. Then it's more and go deep and deep. Maybe we can just stop 5-10 minutes. Okay. Sorry.
Informera om en väldigt positiv sak som kommer att hända snart på den europeiska sidan av världen, eller håller på att hända. Kan alla prata svenska? Maybe I speak English. Everybody understand English? Yes? Okay, good. So then it's a Zandok-Pali construction project in Republic of Kalmykia in Russian Federation. I think is this spring, Rinpoche was visiting Kalmykia and founded a group or center, and then discussed to the construction of Zandok Pali Temple, Guru Rinpoche's Pure Land, in the Russian Federation. And Kalmykia, maybe many people know, it is I think the only Buddhist ethnic Buddhist region, big region in Europe, which is traditionally Buddhist. And they had already obtained, I think, the land. Is it so? I think so. Yeah. And it will be identical copy of the temple that Rinpoche built in Dzogchen Valley in Tibet. And this is the idea of Rinpoche La. And everyone is, they are happy to invite everyone to take part of this international project, which started spontaneously. And during teachings in Republic of Kalmykia, as I said, he wished to build this Zandok Pali Center. I know now they already got the permission, and they are starting to make the preparation for building this temple. And also Rinpoche blessed the land, and registration process has been started, and it will be updated on the website, which will be launched with all the news and reports on the construction, so people will be able to follow it also. And of course, when the temple is built, everyone is welcome to go there, to receive teachings, to stay there, for retreats, and other things. Maybe Rinpoche would like to add something?
It's good.
It's good?
I mean, this year I went to there. The Kalmykia government, there's like very much welcome, and also the city mayors came to the airport, and then he wanted to do with me. Then I said, maybe you can create in your country this kind of, maybe not only temple, maybe some school, Buddhist institution. And he was very happy, and he presented, like, give me one, like, nice land. From there is one small lake, and maybe this is like a monkey ear, monkey mouth, and grown, which is like birth years. And maybe I said to him, now you have his position, he's the karmic, the capital city man. He is sometimes coming to teaching the Muslim. But this time he said, it's like, I'm not for you, please, could you guide me? Okay, we have this very small group, like one couples, like all can make organize, but generally it's Karmiya Buddhist country, but it's like most is follow tradition for the Gelu tradition. And then it's Gamma Kaji quite now famous. Then it's Sahya Nimas. I mean, it's all of them the same, but it's theirs. Therefore, I mean, Padmasambhava, there's one very pension. He has center there, nice. The group, my group is very small. But then this city made you need to do so. Okay, I will do. If you do, I can follow. I can help. You can to make copies. This on the body I created in Tibet. Maybe this is in Tibet. That one is. I mean, it's okay. Nice symbolic of the Buddhism, which is pure, as the Kati said. But maybe it's in Dzogchen. There's so many different things. It's not okay. This year, our Western student was very happy because we used 10 days. We made there's retreat this year. We went to there's more than 120 Western students, and we made nice retreat. Chinese government say okay, and that I'm very happy. I mean, it's currently I said, what is a country? Maybe some Dharma Institute. Yes, then they are starting now. There's a group. Yes, that's.
Yeah, and there is a picture. I will hang it on there. And if anybody would like to contribute, small or big amounts, whatever, because it's also for ourselves, for Westerners in the future, we can all go there for sure. And this is a great opportunity for us to study and practice in the future in the West, in the Nyingma and Dzogchen tradition, which is really, really great, and also Longchen Nyingtig. Okay, so I hang it there later, and you can email me or SMS me. Everybody has my telephone number, and everybody has my email address, so then we can see if I can send something to them after I collect something. If there's something, if you're interested, okay? Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, we can continue follow our programs.
Yes.
And quoting some strange garments to the Arabic speaker. Croak, you are listening. That's a story. And when I become the Arabic speaker, I need to continue for my programs. And maybe if all the times I'm to say blah blah blah, maybe tired. Maybe sometimes you can just interrupt to me and put some questions, okay? And also, when we need to stop, and that is like you can tell me, or someone's like you're not really dating, party, many things there. It's Friday evening, also television I need to wake up. And like this. But anyway, general ways like when we want to practice Buddha's teaching, it's a kind of, I'm not saying you should do like this, you shouldn't do like this, nothing that. And also, I cannot like to say the two teachings, like I'm not kind of really teacher. But it's like according in our past some karmas, the kind of families, and that perspective kind of suggestions. And everybody says like, okay, we want to follow the Buddha's teaching, Buddha's step. We want to send level of the Buddhas. And also that as Buddha, he said that relatively, of course, we have different degrees, our mind. You call me the Buddha, This is in relativism, absolutely. We are completely no different. We are same. It doesn't matter big human or small human, or man or woman, animal. Everybody has a Buddha nature, their own potential of the Buddha nature. And therefore, if we want free from the sufferings. I mean, it's like how we can to make free our mind, make free from the sufferings. It's a kind of realization, kind of something understand inside. We don't need to change. That is the main point. Sometimes Buddhist perspective or Buddhist people, he says, if I will become enlightenment, maybe I have very bad nose, maybe I will change. I will become handsome or beautiful. I have very strange, beautiful visions and appearances, so on. So it's completely wrong. Do not need to change. To keep the act it is, basic this world and this society, this body. Don't need to change any at all. But what is the inner, the meaning of the enlightenment? Something power, strength. For example, when you are like you never like studied how to drive, and you are not free to drive. You all the times not free. You need to ask someone. I have car, but I cannot drive. Please, can you drive me? And someone is drive. And also it's like it's in the road, you don't know how one, maybe accident or something, how I can to take care. This everything is others' hand. And then it's like you say, oh, I want to do free, I want to become driver myself. I want to drive my car myself and to study things, everything, and this knowledge and this kind of realization, understanding coming into your mind. But nothing changed. But you have this knowledge, afterwards you can to drive. And so you can take care of yourself. It's an accidental, not completely in our own, in the hand. If we can to take care, if we can to drive very well, no problem, we are free. We can, that moment is you become the good driver. You change your nose? No. And you have become good driver. You change your ear? No. And you didn't change nothing. What I need to change? Then is you, before you are not driver, now you are driver. And I don't need to change any artwork, but I have something, knowledge in my heart. That is the invisible, but I have knowledge, how I can to use all these, how to say, technologies. Now I'm a good driver. Exactly like this. When we be enlightenment, is we don't need to change any at all, and to keep at its ease like this. And therefore, we can to see if we want to follow the Buddha's teaching, want to study Buddha's teaching, want to follow the Buddha's step, and want to be the level of the Buddhas, I think it's very important to correct that are my suggestions, and to sometimes we can to say, I'm Western, okay, now I'm Western. Therefore, I'm saying, and our Western sometimes democratic ways, it is like what I need to follow correctly. Whatever I want to do that. And I don't care much lineage, I don't care much about the transmission, empowerment, and so on, so on. This is democratic. I will go to in the book to buy the Dzogchen teachings, books like there's millions of books. And to buy and go to at home, I can to study. Surely it's lead to me enlightenment. Maybe that is a little bit incorrect. I don't know. Maybe, and to really, it's like these days is like very easily to get the information, easily to see the biographies in the ancient times in India, in Tibet, in China, and some there's a great master. And the same as the Buddha himself, how they become the enlightenment. Maybe begin a little bit imitate what they did. Okay, I want to do like this. It's like presently some modern, like electronic gadgets, lamas, something telling, doing things. We don't need to imitate to them. We don't need to follow. Okay, you tell me Dharma, thank you, but how I can to really to precisely to follow, to teaching them, we can go to reading the biography of these things. And then how I can to correct, that is, I think is, I mean, many times demonstrating that, and very important to follow correctly. And for example, as I said, when you study driver, first time is like when we study driver, we need imitating for the teacher of the driver, what he is doing things. And slowly adapt these knowledges, and slowly say, okay, now I can to drive forward or backward, how I can turn all the traffic lights slowly. Certainly you become to pass exam, then you are freedom. That moment, maybe you can do many different things, you know. And yeah, this is ruled, but I can do a little bit escape this from rule. I can do like this, that. And the longer the road is, oh, I want to go to shortcut. There's many. Like that times you become the master of for the driver. Like this is beginning a little bit like follow the correctly, like study, meditation, and also activities a little bit correctly to follow. And when we study, there's many, for example, in order to study, we need to receive the like kind of teaching properly, very important for the lineage, very important, like, how do you say, to fully to study. And then it's the same time like kind of helping empowerment, transmissions, and to really to keep these things. It's very nice. I'm often to say now Buddha's teachings is coming in Western. In the future, it's like kind of some in Gothenburg, some great Buddhist masters appear in the cities, marvelous. But some in Tibet, we have like modern electronic alcoholic like Buddhist masters, you know, and slowly destroying. Those are like not very much caring. And then I'm saying one is disaster things in Tibet. Now many youngs, they don't believe, they can want to give up, they follow this one. Because they look at these masters and what they doing, and they don't care. They don't care. Look, maybe it's Buddhist, it is like this. Then it's younger people, they hate, they're slowly, more and more accruing. Maybe one day, maybe in Tibet, it's the same as in India. India, if you go to there's almost Buddhist practitioner, difficult to see some Theravada monks in Buddha garden. It's almost completely disappeared. For example, Balinese or Tibetan, these monks lamas came to in India, then reveal again Buddha's teaching, almost disappeared, completely disappeared. Like this, and the one day in Tibet is like this. Maybe in now, according to Buddha's prophets, you can just say, it's a teaching is coming more Westerns. Maybe it's in the future more holding the really precious Buddha's teachings. Maybe in our Western, and then it's like continue how many years. Then it's begin is very, very important to receive for others' benefit, and for yourself is the benefit for follow the really to correctly. Therefore, now I'm going to say that in the secret Mantrayanas, it is very important to follow that. You know, for example, in order to receive the Pita instructions. Pita instruction is like a not normal, like kind of teachings, very much direct, very much like functionable, works, and also like immediately it's like kind of making the movement of our minds to saying that is the essential nature of the mind. That is the luminosity aspect is like this. Each luminosity aspect, particle, anti-particle, you can to say our Buddhist aggregations introduced to the natures like this. For example, aggregation of the body, aggregation of the form, cessation, and formations. There's 5 aggregations introduced into the nature of the realities. And then it's like kind of making the surprise. But it is not kind of exaggerate. it is reality, it is the truth. And like this, then it's the mind is itself is like how it is the mind. This mind is there, but mind has no shape, no color, no dimension. And this perspective, mind is not existence. For example, many our Westerns think we haven't got mind. Sometimes I'm very much scared of that, you know. If I haven't got mind, what can I do? I'm like the same as this material? No, I'm not this material. I have mind, I'm saying. Okay, and I have one student, like he's like science, we are talking about, for example, the mind itself in the brain, like there is a kind of electronic things, electricity. Says, okay, then it's, do you have this one as electricity? And also they say, yes, this electricity in my brain electricity, what is the difference? And maybe it's not different. But then it's this, it thinks electricity cannot memorize, cannot to say I'm happy, cannot to say I'm suffering. But in my brain, this why? Some electricity can speak, some electric, you know this, to how do you say, to have feeling happy or sorrow. But some electricity, nothing. Then it's what is the difference? Then I say I don't believe that. Mind is the ultimate mind. Mind is not electricity, mind is not particle, mind is not empty particle. Mind is the mind. Mind is not really physical heart. No, mind is not the brain. Of course, in my body there's mind. The mind is the mind. 100% I want to research more mind because it's I have been very much interested in mind. My mind, when we talk about my mind, my mind is all the time is looking for the happiness. My mind is like any kind of receive the sufferings is all the time crying. I don't want to suffer. I want to be free from it. Then it's obviously, definitely, where is I don't know, okay? In here or here or here. There is something, it's a field that I want to research that. Nothing else. For example, I would to say, if I'm cut this one to put there, that's my finger. But mine's not theirs. My finger's no feeling. It is like kind of how do you say? That moment my fingers to cut many different things, or like a piece of pigeon. I don't care. My fingers never. But it's a little related to my mind. If someone's taught like, I'm a pain. It is like this. For example, if I'm living in this house, someone's break windows, I'm immediately suffering. Someone's windows broken. It cannot. I'm living here. Maybe if I go out, someone's break the house windows. It's okay. It's nobody's there crying. And it's like this. How long my mind stay in this house until there, and this house is connected to the mind, and then there is like kind of a feeling of happy and the sorrow or something like this. And that perspective, we need to research the mind. Mind is very, very, very important. And that's why I may say that in the Sutta, the authentic perspective, or the Dzogchen perspective, really talking direct to the mind. In the mind is the essence aspect like this, luminosity aspect like this. Your mind is like this, to talking about nakedly, directly. Like there's nothing like kind of, how do you say, the eggshells, like kind of, or maybe inside there's something, but outside talking, you know, not like this. The Vajrayana's authentic teachings is really very direct, sharp, but that one's like to received properly, correctly, to receive is really function, it really works. And it's like, otherwise it's like, of course we can to follow our own way, but maybe it's a little bit the result is longer. That is, I want to say it's like things. And then it's the teaching itself. I want to say it's like maybe there is like basically it's like we making normally preliminary aspect. Preliminary aspect, there is a training process of the mind, not like kind of same as the sutta perspective. It is like in the Mantrayana's preliminary aspect, it's like very short preparations. It is we call normally called the preliminary aspect, and also sometimes it's very much necessary. Why? Because it can give to us enthusiastic interest. Yes, this preliminary aspect. For example, I will say the short way, there's a 4 reminders. Human existence, impermanent, and the defects of the samsara, maybe causalities. These 4 are the really, like we analyze on that. This like 4 reminders means it's like kind of, when we remember that, what I need to do something. For example, we can just say that human beings is like a precious human existence. Sometimes says all precious human existence is very difficult to get or difficult to obtain. If we really too concerning, it is the truth. And also some science we are talking about. I don't believe the evolution. Okay, sorry. My evolution is that after the death we died, that big evolution. For example, element is going like this, each moment creating something. One is like elements, like kind of produced our body. It's at the beginning human qualities. Maybe our nose or the mouth is very long, it doesn't matter, human qualities there is. Or maybe black, or maybe strange eye, strange nose, but that is the different the clans, different attitude, different foods. It's happened. You know, it's like we are like, for example, if you can look at in Belgium we talk about the black and white put together. It's different human beings. It's a beautiful, handsome in Belgium. Many now interest these things. It's like that. This kind of is a body shape to change. It doesn't matter. It's like but it's a human quality. Is the human quality at the beginning. Maybe we are a little stupid, but human quality. Or maybe intelligent, human quality. And this body is same as built by the 4 elements, same as the other animals, like a cow or something is horse, anything, but it's a different atmosphere, different quality, different, it's like kind of mentally, or something is like we are more intelligent, more conceptive, or like kind of thinkable, or like kind of more intelligent. It's like really, it's a special. To be in this kind of state, or to be in the human existence, anyway, it's the marvelous, extraordinary. And we more to think, to say in the Buddhist perspective, I'm human beings. You know, it's most human majorities, they do not understand their life. A little problems, they say, so I'm suffering, better to want to die. Or sometimes we have everything, but we are still kind of looking, seeking something. It's like different problems, it's like this. When we listen to more the Buddha's teachings, each moment we can to make happy. I'm human existence. It doesn't matter, some conditions not there. And like this. Also it's like when we sick, when we be old age, when we die, something. Yes, when I'm healthy, I already experienced. I was very happy. I've done all like kind of different experience. Now I haven't got any regret. I have experienced young times. I have experienced happy times. Everything is each moment I recognize that. That kind of human is life's meaningful. And the top of that, and then it's like say, oh, now I'm like a human existence. And next like reminder is showing me impermanent. I can to see outer environment, inner, my family, friend. Everybody is impermanent. I'm surely impermanent. I need to urge it. I'm saying it's like these times, this city mayor, he's a very strong Russian guy. I said, taking care. You are not permanent forever, the city mayor. Few years, surely you become changed. And now you should to do something. It's really, it's like something you've done, some good things, it's maybe people happy. Like same is now it's like precious and really is healthy, young, and also doesn't matter, but we can do something. You know, Buddha's one word when he became 32 years, he's saying to the Father, Father, I saw those sufferings, I needed to do some urgently. After 6 years, he never say urgent to do something, okay? Just 6 years. Normally 6 years longer, but it's really, we are go through the 6 years, it's nothing, you know. And you know, and I came to in Gothenburg, how many years?
5 years ago.
Oh, look, 5. I thought maybe I didn't go to here 1 or 2 years. Already 5 years. I don't believe like this. But 6 years after, it's completely like something done. It's fulfillment of the mind is there. And then he says like, there's a freedom. Like this is a little bit when we obtain the human existence to hurry up, according to impermanent. And that is the kind of knowledge. Afterward, it's like, okay, if I'm today die, I'm disappeared or not disappeared. You know, now there is one university professor wants to put in questions, you know, very nice. He says, when I'm die, something is alive or not. And that means it's like my consciousness is alive or not. My consciousness going to continue or not. Please, can you give me answers? And like this is like in the Buddhist perspective, of course we have continuation of, it doesn't matter samsaric mind or enlightened mind, there is a continuation. It's the mind to continue like this. Even you be enlightened man, your mind is continue to helping to benefit for the sentient beings. And of course maybe it's effortlessly, you need not necessarily to suffering. But the samsaric mind, there is continued, but more suffering, more problems. Like same as in our this life. It's like kind of the every day we are day and night changing, coming to, I mean for me it's like almost 55 years I changed. I don't know how I changed. And until now, I'm just almost on the path to forget it. I mean, it's like this, we need to continually, it is samsaric mind, is like this. For example, there is one first Patrul Rinpoche book, it says, when we die, and then it's finished, like kind of evaporated our mind, they're okay. And then we don't need to do, but it's more scary, you know, do you understand? I made one, is in Georgia, a young lady. It's amazing, she's what is concerning. I'm buying all electronic printing, and she is in the desk, and I'm going to, and she said, are you a Buddhist? I said, yes, I'm Buddhist, sorry. And she said, you are lucky. Why? You can to put hope in the next life. You can to put hope in the next lives. No, my religion is not like this. Why? In this life I'm happy. If I make God is happy, then I will go to hell. In this life if I'm not happy, maybe I need to go do many different bad, negative things, I'm going to. That is for forever. This is like a thing. I said, maybe no, this is surely God give you some things. You can do it again. This is my religion. But you expect the next life. Like if we evaporated, it's disappeared, then there's no continuation mind, more scary, you know. Then you need to more to quickly to make a happy party. Okay, it's like though this book, Patrul's book said not like this. We need to go something different destinations. Then destination is the samsara. We say where is the destination? Even our human realms, this to look at it, then it's slowly enthusiastic or inspired to the Dharma or Buddha's teaching or your spiritual path. And then it's like to practice or to do something, it's like more profound. And also even you follow the Dzogchen teachings, then it's after really it's like enthusiastic interest, and then it's naturally occurring the kind of devotion, faith, really eagerly to want to practice that. And it's not really today or tomorrow's. As much as you practice, never fed up or the tiring or something is like kind of mind hesitation, never occurring. Therefore, it's like even you follow the Dzogchen traditions, there's first preparation aspect of preliminary is very important. It's not necessary to train a long time in the Sutta perspective. We sometimes training with our mind a long time. And then is second, there is like doing in the Dzogchen traditions. We are like doing through accumulations, or we can to say is like practicing most times the creation and the dissolutions. This true are the principal path of the Vajrayanas, and we doing the sometimes follow the sadhana and to visualize yourself as the deities, or you like to follow some ritual things. And there is not normal rituals, not like kind of religious rituals. It's completely related to this is the creation stage. Creation stage, as much as you visualize to like do like this is the best accumulation of the merit. And at the same time as you are meditating perfect dissolutions. You know, it's like whatever you perceived, sound, smells, like forms, any kind of, sometimes you have, there is the view of the natural expanse of the space or the lumina, the empty natures. Sometimes dissolution and the creation, sometimes coming together, sometimes we are doing fast, quickly these two accumulations, accumulate merit and the wisdoms together. When we do like this, and then easily to purify the two obscurations, cognitive obscuration, the defilement obscurations. These two obscurations, it is we all the times there's, you know, this obscuration means it's like part of the ignorant, like kind of removable. We can do say adventitious. This is not like kind of sticked into the mind, but kind of there is something is according we did something negative, or something is like there is, as I said, is part of the ignorant, part of the disturbing emotions. This one is like kind of looks like a cloud, then it's the cover over the like sun of the mind, and in order to take away this the adventitious has, there's true kind of adventitious, like kind of cognitive adventitious and the defilement adventitious. This one true is like more clean up, more purified, and then mind there's true aspect, more clean essence, the nature of the mind, or luminosity, the mind aspect. This true is like true more clean, and then this essence more shine, and the luminosity aspect is like become more underclear. There's we call the discriminating wisdoms. Then what is right, what is wrong, what is in the past, what is in the future, what is the really samsara's nature, realities. It's more discriminating wisdoms become more and more sharp, and then we can too easily to understand the mind itself, easily to understand the perception of the mind, and therefore and then sometimes we have pith instructions. We can to practice cutting through and leap over. There's a very special true things, and that is the really fast, quickly principle teaching of the secret Mantrayanas. And when we receive this one, it's a cutting truth. That is the really diamonds, and it's like you, any kind of circumstances, bad, good, negative, positive, bring into the path. Whatever you do, even you're using your hand, it's become positive. Whatever you do, but that is like the methods through the paid instructions. You receive the view of the Mantrayanas, and then once you recognize or perceive this view, then you can do control whatever you like movements. Then it's really fast. Then it's in the single our life, 100% become enlightenment. Then it's we can to make meaningful life, benefit life, and it's ourselves and others. Like this Gulag. Do you have any questions? Maybe we need to stop there. And maybe we need to go to party for youngs. Okay, then maybe we can do questions tomorrow, okay? Yeah, thanks your attention, thanks your patience. And sorry for too late, yeah. And then we can do tomorrow, blah, 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 okay? Thanks, Junctures, Central, Rinpoche, Mahi, Parmasambhava, Hipa, Nyamba, Mekata, Only Kondo, Pira, Shok. Good night, sleep well. Yeah.